I'm Alena Chapman, founder of Manifesto. And today we're going to be talking about creating without that worry of failure. Isn't that a wonderful thing? You know, when we have that worry of failing, that destructive force, it disconnects us from what we're trying to create. So let's talk about that. How can we stop that? And what is that creative force, that spirit of being in that creative force? Well, my gosh, that is the zone. That is the flow. That is when that wonderful divine force of the universe comes right in and fills the mold you are making to make that creative process a success. Whether that's a business, whether that's a book, whether that's a pottery, whether that's raising kids, whether that is just building a life or building a relationship. How do we create without the worry so that we can have that direct connection with the universe and be in that wonderful flow of ease and the zone of focus? Okay, isn't that so wonderful? I'll tell you what, that's where time stands still. That's where there's such an intensity on the creating. It's incredibly satisfying. It's incredibly rewarding. It feels so good. And you feel like you're one with the universe. So, how do we get into that? All right. So you're going to laugh at one of these things. Every time you start to feel like you are getting out of that creative force and getting into that failure and that worry, you have to clap first. I know it sounds funny. You've got to clap. So if I'm here and I'm creating and I'm writing my book, say when I was writing my book, I'm writing a book. I'm actually writing another book right now. It's called Hello Soul. So if I'm writing, and I'm not really a writer, okay? So I have 3 books, 2 international bestsellers, and I'm not a writer. So when I'm writing, I guess I am now, but when I'm writing, I always have that feeling, oh, but I'm not a writer. Ooh, is that something of failure? Oh gosh, yes it is. I'm writing and that little thought, that criticism comes in, that critical mind saying, ooh, but you're not a writer. Okay, I clap like that, and then I break up that energy. And then I say, okay, I am going to take that little piece of worry and I am putting it right in a basket, right here up on this shelf. And I have that basket so beautifully created in my mind. It's gold and it has a little pink, a little red, a little blue. It's very ornate. And I put it on the top shelf and it holds that criticism. And I tell it, I give it a time. You stay there for 15 minutes. And every time it comes down, I say, not time yet. And you know what it does? Because you're not saying, okay, I'm just going to poof this thought out of my mind, this criticism. And that doesn't work because it's part of you. You have to work through it eventually. But to start getting into that zone, you can train yourself to just give it a little break. Give it just 15 minutes is nothing. 5 minutes is nothing. And because it's such a short amount of time, you'll find that for 15 minutes, you're in that incredible zone. And the universe is saying, yes, yes, yes. And it's helping you create. And then at the end of 15 minutes, you got to stop. You got to be true to yourself. And believe it or not, to that criticism. I know it sounds funny, but you really do. And at 15 minutes, you let it come down for 10, 15 minutes. But guess what happens? This is the treat. once that thought comes down and you've already had 15 minutes of real focus, you've weakened it. If I'm writing my book in full focus and I get into the flow and I feel like I am actually downloading from the universe everything I'm writing, and then at the end of the 15 minutes, I let that criticism come down, it doesn't hold much value anymore. So I'm not a writer, but guess what? I got something bigger working through me. And I got an editor to fix it. Do you see what happens? Changes it totally. So give that a shot. Because I'll tell you what, whatever you're creating in your life, that's why we're here. The other thing you have to know, that we're here to make mistakes. We don't have failures. We have mistakes. Because we're supposed to be here to create, which is experience, and to expand, which means grow. That's the whole purpose. Oh, and to love, of course. That is the whole reason why we said we wanted to come down to this planet and be in these bodies and try to make things happen. Because we want to experience a contrast to what we had wherever we were. We wanted to try things. We wanted to taste things. We wanted to be a part of new situations. We wanted to see a difference. So there is no failure. That's in your head. We might make a mistake. And so we make a mistake. So I wrote, you know what? When I wrote my second book, folks, I sent it to a person who I knew who had worked for she was a reader for a major publishing house. And she was a friend of a friend. And she said she would do him a favor and she would read my book. This was The Prison Effect, which was my second book. And I remember, because I was walking down in my hometown in Vermont. I was actually walking right down the street and I get a call from her. She had just read my book. And she said, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "Well, no, but I will." And I sat down and she said, "Okay, I have some things about your book." Well, let me tell you, she tore it apart. And she did it in a nice way, but she really tore it apart. And even worse than that, she was criticizing everything I felt as not being a writer, a true writer, then somebody who had gone to school to be a writer, then she tore at every single one of those insecurities I had. Can you believe it? So at the end, she says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Well, yes, I'm okay." And I thought, I think I'm going to crumble up and just die here. But I thought to myself, all right, I've learned. It's a mistake. So I have a choice. This is what I said to myself. I have a choice. I can either rewrite this book following what she said. She's giving me wonderful guidance. I've learned from this experience and I've grown. I'm closer to being a writer. So am I going to give up on this now because I feel insecure? Or am I going to try again? Rewrite this. Maybe have her look at it again as I'm writing to make sure I'm on the right track. I made a mistake, but I grew from it and I'm moving forward. I am not going to let that stop my creativity. And the next time I wrote, I felt more sure of myself because I had guidance and I already had made the mistake. I already had done it. So my mind was free. And I, all of a sudden, could start to write and be connected and total download from the universe. I was in total connection. Incredible, isn't it? So it's time to conquer our failure. So try that basket trick. And also let me know. Let me know how it works. Or do you have another way that you conquer that feeling of failure, or how to get connected so that you're creating in that wonderful, incredible, amazing zone? I want to hear. I want to hear. So comment below. Most of all, keep the creating, keep the expansion, and keep the love that keeps your soul alive. As always, Spirit is that incredible love for ourselves and others. And guess what? Love is spirit. Namaste to all of you. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll enjoy. Namaste.